Hello everyone and a warm welcome back to another episode of Byakhya's Economic News Picks of the Week. I'm your host John Manandar and today I'll be presenting the weekly business and economic highlights of the country from 27th May to 2nd June 2022. So without any delay, let's get into it. On behalf of the Sherbahadur Deuwa-led coalition government, Finance Minister Janardhan Sharma presented the budget of Rs 1.79 trillion for the upcoming fiscal year 2022-23 on May 27. Completely disregarding warning from economists of presenting a bloated budget that would exacerbate the already high inflationary pressure, which has hit 7.28%, the highest in nearly 6 years, the government has announced a nearly 10% bigger budget compared to that for the ongoing fiscal year. Despite knowing that it does not have the spending capacity, the government announced an overinflated budget packed with populist schemes in order to woo voters ahead of the upcoming federal and provincial elections slated for later this year. Now to the next news. With the government-to-government deal to procure chemical fertilizers from India hanging by the thread, it was almost certain that Nepal would face a fertilizer crisis and subsequently a food crisis ahead of the key paddy planting season. However, in a major breakthrough, the southern neighbor has asked Nepal to send details about its chemical fertilizer requirement. Under the pact, India will supply 60,000 tons of urea and 20,000 tons of diammonium phosphate. Therefore, it seems the government has averted an unprecedented fertilizer crisis by the skin of its teeth. But that too is not certain because the government is frantically working on a plan B for obtaining fertilizers from other countries in case the deal with India goes south. However, there has been no concrete development so far. Now on the geopolitical front. At a time when Sino-Nepalese relations are at a low ebb following the ratification of MCC despite China's reservations, the government seems to be further aggravating the northern neighbor by turning a blind eye as US Under-Secretary Uzra Zia visited Tibetan refugees in Kathmandu. The Nepal government knows Tibetan refugees are a touchy subject for Beijing that considers Tibet as part of China. The government has therefore always shown extra sensitivity to address China's concerns, which is evident by its refusal to issue refugees card to Tibetan refugees since 1995 and from occasional crackdowns on the 15,000 Tibetan refugees residing in the country. The US, on the other hand, has always pressed Nepal to uphold Tibetans' human and economic rights. Despite conveying on every possible occasion that Nepal steadfastly sticks to the One China policy, by allowing an official of China's arch-nemesis to visit Tibetan refugees, the Nepal government therefore runs the risk of falling into a geopolitical quagmire with the Chinese government. Now on the green hospitality front. In a bid to join the fight against plastic pollution and promote eco-friendly products for green hospitality in the hotel industry, Hotel Association of Nepal on June 1 decided to ban all types of single-use plastics or throw-away plastics from all its 3,000 member establishments across the country from January 1, 2025. Now to the fuel front. Despite the fact that the supplier of petroleum products to Nepal, Indian Oil Corporation, has sent an increased price of petroleum products to Nepal Oil Corporation, the state-owned monopoly has slashed prices of petrol, diesel and kerosene by Rs 10 per litre from June to midnight after reducing the infrastructural tax on diesel and petrol by Rs 10 per litre. Now to the next news. While presenting the budget for the fiscal year 2022-23 on May 27, the Finance Minister Janardhan Sharma has announced plans to resume the operation of 9 belly-up public enterprises without any concrete action plan based on the need and the economic and financial rationale to run these closed industries. These closed enterprises include Janakpur Cigarette Factory, Agricultural Tools Factory, Gorakhpuri Rubber Industry, Orient Magnesite, Nepal Metal Company, Biratnagar Jute Mill, Birganj Sugar Factory, Hetauda Textile Factory and Butwal Yarn Factory. In the same budget speech, the government has also announced to take the Nijgadh International Airport project forward by preparing an investment structure for the project through Investment Board Nepal. This is a classic case of muscle wielding by the government and a complete disregard to the Supreme Court's May 26 verdict to pull the plug on the construction of the much controversial National Pride project that turned out to be an environmental nightmare despite being a developmental dream. Now to the next news. Following widespread private sector criticism of the government's June 2019 decision to raise the minimum FDI threshold from Rs 5 million to 50 million, the government through the May 27 budget announcement has now reduced the minimum threshold to Rs 20 million. Moreover, in order to reduce hassle for foreign investment of more than Rs 100 million, the government has also announced the implementation of the automatic approval system and a preliminary approval within 7 days. This is indeed good news. Now to the next news. According to the Economic Survey 2021-22 unveiled by the government on May 28, with the government relying more and more on borrowing to meet its financial liabilities amid low revenue collection and soaring expenditure, the government's public debt has reached Rs 1.848 trillion as of mid-March this year, which is up from Rs 1.737 trillion a year ago. According to the same economic survey, the gross investment of Nepal is expected to grow by a mere 18.1% in the current fiscal year, way down from 29.3% last year. Considering that the government is the primary investor of the country, the decline in the growth rate of investment has mainly been attributed to the low capital expenditure of the government that stands at a woeful 31.28% until the 10 months of the current fiscal year. Now to the final news. The demand pull inflation brought in by the expansionary monetary policy to address the impacts of COVID-19 combined with the cost push inflation brought in by the disruption of the supply chain due to the Russian-Ukraine war has caused overall inflationary pressure to reach a 6-year high at 7.28%. Therefore, in its third quarterly review of monetary policy unveiled on May 27, the government or the Nepal Rashtra Bank has said it will tighten the money supply further if the soaring consumer inflation and existing pressure on foreign currency reserves are not eased. So that's it for now. Hope you found our business and economic highlights insightful. If you did, then please like, subscribe, and don't forget to share it with your friends and all the economic lovers out there. Also, we'll be back soon enough with the top 5 economic picks of the week presented with our own analytical twist. So, until then, have a wonderful week ahead. Checking out John Manandhar.